Hello everyone, I'm Teldae and this is my Poison Penetrator rogue build for Diablo 4. I played both the early beta and the server slam and this build performed amazingly well in both, so I have high expectations for full release. This is a strong single target build but can handle groups with ease with just a little bit of positioning. It might go without saying, but I'm going to say it. This entire video is based on my experience from the early beta and server slam and the info that's available at the moment, so things could change. Apologies for having very little gameplay footage. I blew up and didn't watch the time, so we hit the end of the server slam weekend while my brother and I were on the way to a dungeon to record some boss fights. Before we begin, shout out to d4builds.gg for their build planner, link in the description. Okay, let's get into it. The first few active skills already start synergizing early and pick up in power and utility with later skills and the legendary effects. Because you're only taking 2 active skills to rank 5, you will need to spend a few points in Weapon Mastery, Exploit, Malice and Aftermath passives to progress the skill tree to the final branch. You only need 1 rank of Forceful Arrow with the Fundamental node. This gets you vulnerable procs, crit hits, knockback and knockdown. For your core skill, you're taking Penetrating Shot and will take it to rank 5 as you level up. This is your bread and butter damaging skill with Elite Knockdown from the Advanced node. For your agility skill, you're taking 1 rank of Caltrops, which comes with a short leap back, AoE slow trap, small damage buff, and a crit chance bonus with the Disciplined node. Caltrops is preferred over the other 2 agility skills because it does not consume your Imbuement charges. Next up is the Subterfuge branch, where you take 1 rank of Concealment, which will give you a good defensive movement cooldown, which will also give energy and guaranteed crit from the countering node. While leveling, this guaranteed crit will be a major boss killing contributor. Once you unlock your Keystone passive, this guaranteed crit can instead help to line up your best buffed Penetrating Shot, because the Keystone guaranteed crit has 40% increased damage. Next is the Imbuement branch, where you take Poison Imbuement, which is the other half of your bread and butter DPS. Initially 1 rank, but later on you will take this to rank 5. Because the build goes heavily into critical strikes, you will want the poison damage increase from the blended node. The last of the active skills is your ultimate, Shadow Clone, with both bonus nodes. Shadow Clone is your boss cooldown. It will give you a 15-second window where the clone will duplicate all your attacks, so you want to squeeze your cooldowns to fit in there. The damage potential is super high. Your Keystone passive is Precision, which ties in with all the critical strike already going on with this build. Due to the level restrictions on early access gameplay, I haven't actually had the Keystone passive, but it will be super important to track the buff progress so you can unleash that charged up crit with supporting buffs active. That about covers it for the active skills. We'll be taking combo point Specialization to charge up your Penetrating Shot base damage, which directly impacts Poison Imbuement damage. Passive skills are mostly offensive, with max ranks in Weapon Mastery, Concussive, Exploit, Malice, Precision Imbuement, Deadly Venom, Aftermath, Adrenaline Rush, and Haste. You will take 1 rank in Agile and then max rank in Mending Obscurity for free health regen for every second you spend stealth. Moving on to Aspects, also known as Legendary Powers. For those not aware, Aspects on 2-handed weapons are 100% more effective, and on Amulets they're 50% more effective, so your primary Aspects need to go there. On your bow or crossbow, you want Edge Master's Aspect, which grants a global percentage damage bonus based on how full your energy pool is. No drawbacks, no penalties. This ties up with the chosen node for Penetrating Shot, where you want to shoot elites with full energy to knock them down. On your amulet, you want Aspect of the Expectant, which builds stacks to be consumed by your next Penetrating Shot to boost its damage, similar to combo points. The other aspects you can see here with a brief summary on what they do. For your socketed gems, you want 3 flavors. In weapons, you want Emerald for crit damage to vulnerable enemies. In armor, you want Ruby for maximum life. And in jewelry, you want Diamond for all resist. But if you have a specific resistance hole from gear, you can socket a corresponding gem instead. When it comes to stats on gear, there are a few top contenders that you want. These are damage to distant enemies, core skill damage, damage to vulnerable enemies, and critical strike damage. Lower priority, but still useful, are attack speed, duration of crown control, and crit chance. Take note that dexterity gives 0.1% damage per point, as compared to Diablo 3's 1% per point, so dexterity has dropped way down in the priority list. Some utility stats that you would want are life regeneration if you haven't been damaged recently, and good old-fashioned movement speed. This build does not use or need thorns. Now let's talk about playstyle. Not surprisingly, you will be moving a lot as a rogue, and this build especially. Your basic and core attacks both require lining enemies up for maximum efficiency. Quick note, this is a level 20 critting a same level enemy for 2199. The high movement is part of the motivation for going the poison route, so damage will be ticking on enemies while you reposition. Now unless they nerf Forceful Arrow or how crowd control is applied, it has a hidden bonus effect. You remember that Forceful Arrow does knockback and knockdown on non-elite enemies. However, if you knock back a non-elite onto an elite, they will both be knocked down. You then have some time to either drop Caltrops on top of them for the extra procs, or simply charge up Penetrator shot for maximum damage. I'm not sure what's the opposite of catch-22, maybe a win-win, because if the elite is closest to you, you'll be making it vulnerable with Forceful Arrow before Penetrating Shot for their damage bonus. And if the elite is at the back, you will gain the built-in damage ramp-up of Penetrating Shot going through multiple enemies before hitting the elite. That just about wraps it up for this build. If you have any questions or comments about the Poison Penetrator, please put them below, but don't be toxic. See you on the next one. Teldae out.